And there's a lot of ladies here tonight. I bet some of you ladies are probably wondering, who is this sexy Hispanic Latino lady, right? Because a lot of you haven't seen me perform before. Who is this Ricky Ricardo Antonio Banderas sleeping? Does he know how to dance to the sweet rhythms of salsa? Does he get out and dirty with bad beats of merengue? Maybe there's a scar across his freshly shaven, perfectly tan, olive-colored Latino chest that he earned while fighting for the love of his señorita. How did he earn that scar? Is that what you said? Well, maybe he was making love to his woman, not on the bed, but on the floor like two wild North Korean tigers. And all of a sudden, her husband shows up. And they got in a fight. Or maybe he earned that scar a more simple way, like perhaps he took his little sister to the Olive Garden on a Wednesday morning for brunch. And he got very offended when the waiter offered him an application to work there instead of a table. I love Sebastopol. It's a really nice town. A lot better than fucking Pedro. I was in Pedro about 2 weeks ago, right? And I was driving my little car, and this guy in his fucking 4x4 truck drives up right next to me, and he looks at me and he says, "Hey, how many people live in your house?" Because everybody assumes that there's like 50 Mexicans living in every household, right? And that question kind of bugged me a little bit, because I remember when I was little, we used to live in a 2-bedroom house. And it was just me, my mom, my dad, my 2 brothers, my 3 sisters, my cousin, my uncle, and my grandma. And on the other bedroom, there was this lady from El Salvador. She used to sell pupusas. People were coming in and out, so we couldn't get a real count. 15. This is how you know there's too many people living in your house. When you wake up in the middle of the night and you realize that the fucking rats are moving out because there's not enough space. We had a pretty good relationship with the rats because we had to learn to coexist. So I asked the rats, I'm like, "Hey, where are you guys going?" One of the rats looks back and says, "We're moving out. There's too many people in this house. It's not sanitary anymore." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, well, where are you going?" The rat said, "We're moving to the garage, where there's going to be more space." And I thought, well, good luck. I'm pretty sure the 2 families living there will accommodate you. And that's another question that people ask me all the time, because people are surprised, and they're always wondering, like, why do Mexicans like to live in the garage, right? Because we do that. Why is it? Why do we like to live in the garage? And I'm going to give you the answer tonight. That's right. Because I don't talk for all the Mexicans, I don't represent all the Mexicans, but tonight I have a microphone and I'm on the stage. That's right. So listen up. Mexicans, we love our cars. We think they're very special. We'll even go out of our ways to slap $5,000 rims on a 92 Buick Regal with no registration. They don't have like a $5,000 stereo system, but with a big red sticker in the back, number 5 in there. We love our cars. They're very special, but we just don't think they're special enough to take the biggest room in the house. This is another reason why I like Sebastopol so much. Sebastopol, if you think about it, is actually immigration free. I've been living in this, well, not this little town in Santa Rosa, but I come here a lot, for 23 years, and I've never seen a single immigration officer, ever. I'm serious, I've never seen one. Which means one of 2 things. They're not afraid. But thank you for adding to the comedy. Let me do the talking, you do the listening, and we're going to get obviously. Where was I? I've been living in the country for the last 23 years. I've never seen one. Which means one of 2 things. 1, I'm really good at hiding. Or 2, they're just doing a really bad job of looking for me. I don't blame them though, because if you think about it, I got here when I was 9 years old. So if they have a picture of me, it's just a picture of me crossing the freeway holding my mom's hand like this. And I look nothing like that anymore. And the older I get, the less I look like that little kid. And I just turned 32 about 3 weeks ago. Thank you very much. So if you think about it, I'm getting older, the chances of their catching me are getting slimmer. Winning. But then my friend the other day said, you know they're building a wall in the border between Tijuana and the United States, and it's supposed to be twice as thick and 3 times as high than the one that's built there right now. And she looks at me and she says, is that like a challenge? Do you see that like a challenge? And I'm like, I'm already here. If you think about it, the bigger the wall, the harder it's going to be for them to be happy. Whenever I do these jokes, though, people think we're very different, right? Hispanics, very different families, right? Because we do different things. But if you think about it, I think, personally, that all the families are the same. Like, regardless of who you are, where you're from, all the families have the same core values. Thank you very much. This is going to be a long night. Only one person thinks that? I'm gonna have to make you guys believers. This is fucking Sebasco, come on! This is why I think that, by the way. All the families have the same core values, and in all the families, the same characters exist. Think about this. Yeah, you know where I'm going. Every family has a sweet old grandma, right? That cooks really well, maybe she makes really good meatballs. Everybody has one of those, right? If you have a sweet grandma who cooks really well, make some noise. And every family has a crazy old aunt with a bunch of fucking cats, and she lives by herself. Right? There's like newspapers all over the fucking place. Do you guys have one of those? Everybody has one of those. What about a creepy uncle? That like when he drinks a lot, I don't know, he touches the kids a little too much, maybe. You don't have one of those? Everybody has one of those. In every family there's always an ugly duckling niece. She makes really good money, has a really decent bank account, but only the black guys will fuck her. I'm gonna redo that joke because there's some people here who might beat me up later. Every family has an ugly duckling niece. She makes really good money, has a really decent bank account, but only some of the black guys will fuck her. And here's the character that everybody has in every family. This is the character that every family has. It's that guy that nobody even knows who he is. He just shows up to the parties. He's somebody's friend because he's always fucking there. You don't even know his fucking name. He's like your friend's friend, but he's always at your house, so you like create a nickname for him. You go like Sneaky Pete or Crazy Bert. We have one of those guys. We have one of those guys in my family. He used to show up like all the time. Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving dinner, Hanukkah. The whole fucking time he was there like all the time. He would go through our newspapers, our mail, everything the whole time. And then like my uncle, he used to hang out with my uncle all the time. And my uncle had a nickname for him too. He used to call him Parole Officer Dan. I think I'm going to do the next part as part of my probation. I have to do more of a public service announcement for the next part. So this is mostly for the guys, by the way. How many guys are here, by the way? Because there's a lot of girls here. Make some noise if you're a guy. Come on.
Thank you.
Really great. What about the girls? Make some noise. Girls, come on, make some noise. This is going to be a long night. Okay, guys, listen up. Pay attention. This is going to be good. I don't know if any of you guys seen that movie, The Devil Wears Prada. How many of you guys seen that movie, The Devil Wears Prada, by the way? What about that movie, Pray, Eat, Love? Is that what it's called? Eat, Pray, Love. What? You read the book, she says. Let's go with The Devil Wears Prada. Thank you very much.
The flip.
How's that Jack Daniels, brother?
Okay.
Hey guys, do me a favor. If you ever watch that movie, The Devil Wears Prada, make sure a couple hours before watching the movie, you don't chop onions. Because your conservative Mexican family might show up for a surprise visit, and it just makes it look like you're crying. And they don't know that about a couple hours before you were preparing a decent meal to watch with the movie. And who knows, maybe you got like a glass of Chardonnay going, and you're hanging out with your cat, and it's right at that part where Anne Hathaway cheated on her boyfriend, and it just seems like you're crying. Just, if you're gonna watch that movie, just don't cook anything before that, okay? Thank you very much. My name is Ricardo.